Hello and welcome back to the channel on our continuing voyage to become better guitar players. My name's Mark, and in this video I want to talk about why the guitar is so much better than the piano and how we can utilise that fact to become better guitar players. So before the piano there was the harpsichord, and the funny thing about the harpsichord was it looked a lot like a piano, but no matter how hard or how soft you played the notes, every note sounded the same. There was no dynamics, there was no louder, no quieter, every note was exactly the same, all even. And then around 1700, the piano came along, and the piano revolutionized music for people because it suddenly meant if you played softer, the note was softer, if you played louder, the note was louder. And what this meant was that players could suddenly play with more emotion because they could bring the music down by playing soft and bring it up by playing loud. And the instrument would react to the player. And so suddenly we had an instrument where you could play loud or soft, and which allowed us to get emotion into the music. So the piano allowed us to go softer or louder. And then comes the electric guitar and says, hold my pint. You think you can play a note two ways, loud or soft? I got a million different ways you can play a note. So the thing that makes the electric guitar so good and so much better than the piano is that we can take one note and we can play it loads of different ways. Get different sounds out of playing just the one note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this note G here. B string, where are we? What's that? 7th fret. And we can play it even. And just like the piano, we could play it softer and we could play it louder. So we've got that range of dynamics that the piano has. But also, we can do a lot more. We can shake it. We can bend into it. Still that same note, this one here. And there, in fact, I bent it and picked while it was bent. So you can bend and re-pick. And shake it as well. We can hammer onto it. We can pull off to it. And notice each time, I'm just playing this one note, but it sounds slightly different every time. We can hammer onto it without, from nothing. We can hammer into it from below. We can just tap it straight off without even picking. You can do all these different things and each one sounds slightly different. Some might sound better depending on the context, some might sound less good depending on the context. But we can do all of these kind of things. What else have we got? We can slide into the note. We can tap the note. We can tap it from nothing. I must admit, I'm not much of a tapper, but we could even tap a harmonic for it. That's just about coming through there. You do that with some extra distortion and that note can, really pop out and sing. So you've got all these different things. And I'm just scraping the surface of things that are kind of obvious to me. You might be able to think of more things. The best thing comes when we start to combine these. So as I did before, I bent it and shake it. So let's do that again. You can bend it, bring it back down and then back it up again. That sounds really cool. We can, what can we do? We can pull off and shake it. Hammer on and pull off together. And you can start to combine all of these things. So when we start to then combine these into licks, we take a lick. Let's take a lick that goes like, okay, lick like that, for example, and we could play it like this. Okay, so there we had another slight bend on this note here where we're pulling it slightly sharp. Pulling it out of tune. I've talked about this a lot on the channel before. pulling it slightly dirty, literally taking a note and dragging it out of tune before resolving to another one. So we can do all of these things. You can't do any of those with a piano. You can't hammer onto a note like that. You can't slide down. You can't pull it dirty. You can't shake it. With a piano, you can play it louder and softer. We can play this nice and soft. We've got those dynamics, but we can do so much more with it as well. So one of my favorite things to do is take a note, we'll keep with this note here, and then take the note a full tone below, but on a different string, and bend it up so they become the same note, like this. You can't do that. You can't make that noise with a piano. And I'm just scratching the surface here. Think about using a wah-wah pedal. Think about volume pedal or volume pot. Just doing a simple volume swell. Combine that with a bend. Okay, now we're into kind of whale noises. So the point is that the piano opened up music to emotional playing by allowing the player to express themselves by going louder and softer. Well, the guitar allows us to do that as well, but the guitar has so much more emotion because it allows us to play any note any number of different ways. When we harness that, when we can build that into our playing and get those little slares and bends and slides and everything into our licks, we get so much more emotion into our playing. And that's why I think the guitar is so much better than the piano. Hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, take care.